Hi there, welcome inside the WB Mason Report on GoHofstra.com. I'm Mike Muravito, joined alongside with the head coach of the Hofstra baseball team, John Russo. And Coach, a very good week for your team this week. You dropped first game on Tuesday to Monmouth, but then you come back and beat a team I'm sure everyone in your clubhouse was looking to beat in St. John's, and then you do exactly what you wanted to do, told me you wanted to do last week and take 203 from Old Dominion.
We did have a really good week. We played really tough, especially, the 2 games midweek without right setter in the lineup was really difficult, and I thought the team played well, and, we pitched well most all week except for yesterday, and, listen, very happy with the week.
Talk about that. Friday game got rained out, so you played a doubleheader, a coach's nightmare, I'm sure, back-to-back 9-inning games, but you take both, and your starters don't get past the 6th inning, but it's your bullpen that comes out strong, starting with that game 1. Dave DeRico goes 6 strong innings, but really couldn't go past, but Brian Verbitsky finished the game out. Was it good to see that performance?
It was. We wanted to try to lengthen Brian out, and, that was a perfect scenario for us, was to get about 3 innings, I thought, was what he had in the tank. And, David had, he had nothing. He had his worst stuff of the year, and, he was getting hit pretty hard for the first 3 to 4 innings, and, I thought he really battled to keep it to 4 runs, and, him and I talked in the 4th, and, I thought in the 5th and 6th might have been the best he pitched all year. He quit throwing and tried to pitch, and, he had 2 quick innings, was able to stretch it to get it to Brian.
Now that game 2, Joe Berg comes on, and a very short outing for him, only 4 innings, but you kind of knew, I'm sure, coming in with just Verbitsky being used, that you'd have guys like Schreiber and Barbarino to your disposal, and that's exactly what you went with on top of Nick Kozlowski. They pitched excellent, and you get game 2. It's safe to say, doubleheader, a lot of credit goes to the pen.
Oh, without question. I think it was, 8 innings between the 2 games, 1 hit, and, a bunch of strikeouts. And, Joe, had an admirable outing. It was 4 innings, 1 run, which, was great. And, I just thought both him and David, suffered a little bit from tired arm or dead arm. They both just happened to get it on the same day. Joe wasn't happy about coming out after 4, but, the thing I told him is I thought I could get us the rest of the way home. And, with Kaz throwing well and being able to count on Barbs and Schreiber, that was just what happened. Plus, I didn't think we were really going to score more than, a few runs off of Roberts. Their starter had been really good all year, low 2 ERA, and, we were able to battle and get some runs.
Now, offensively in those 2 games, you saw Kenny Jackson go deep in game game 1, and then you also see Joe Perez just in the weekend in total really have a good week. And he's been getting better each week, it seems. Is it good to see those performances from guys that come May are going to have to be there if you guys are going to win?
Well, Joe has to be here in April, so, it's a good time for him to come. And, it was nice to get Matt back to the lineup. He got 3 hits on Saturday in that game 1. And, Kenny Jackson's been really good all year, had a big week, and, had a big hit, the game-winning hit against St. John's on Wednesday. And, we need a bunch of guys to step up. Our offense has been, not great, but it's been there enough. And, if we can pitch like what I think we can, I think we keep winning games this way.
And you mentioned Rystetter coming into this season, obviously defensively, best the CA has to offer managing a pitching staff. You said, really, if you can up that average and be more of an offensive threat, then you're looking at a really complete backstop. Is that what he's really transitioning into in his junior campaign?
He's been a great player for the last month, and, I don't know where we'd be without him. I mean, we've won, about 14 out of our last 17 or something to that nature, and, during that stretch, he's been great, and he has become the complete player. Offensively, he's turned it around, and, people are getting to see what we thought he could do offensively the whole time. He's, I believe, hitting around 400 in conference and over 300 out of play, and, he's just been a big guy, and to put him behind Hammer, and now with Joe being able to protect him, some of the lineup has been great.
Taking a look at yesterday's game, John Tiedemann got the nod, didn't make it out of the first inning, a 9-run first inning for Old Dominion. He, of course, pitched well against St. John's in that win on Wednesday. Did that have to do with anything with your decision process to give Tiedemann the start, or was that left up in the air till Sunday?
We were left up in the air until Sunday. We really didn't know what to go with. I thought Teeds would be a good matchup for Old Dominion. Obviously, I was wrong. But, I knew we had David Jesh behind him. I knew we had a couple other guys that we were confident in, Graham and Harkey. And, Teeds didn't have to go very far in that game. He just needed to give us some innings. And, listen, nobody could predict a 9-run first inning. And, it just worked out poorly. A couple of hits there and there. He has a ball hit right at somebody. It could have changed the inning, but it is what happened. But at the end of the day, we took 2 of 3, and James Madison got swept by William Mary. So it was a really good weekend for Hofstra baseball.
Now, with that Sunday starter, is it becoming really frustrating for you as a coach? Because last year, you never want to take anything for granted, but after Dorico went down, when Berg, Tiedemann, Jesh, bang, 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 it seemed that you're putting in a new guy almost every week. Is that tough as a coach?
It is super tough. You think with having Tiedemann there, a third-team all-conference pitcher last year, you have a David Jesh who answered the bell, all season, and those are 2 guys that have just really struggled so far this year, and we can't get away from it. And it's not from any lack of effort or lack of want to. It's just they just had bad luck, or it just hasn't worked out. And we're trying to figure it out. And the problem is with David and Joe, we know we have good shots in those 1 or 2 games, and I'm gonna go with it. Kaz would maybe be a good Sunday starter, but he proved invaluable in game 2 to close the gap to get it to Barbarino and Schreiber. So it all depends what we do in those first 2 games. He'll be starting on Sunday right now, and have to figure a plan. We have to show up a little bit more deeper in the bullpen than we did, and having the doubleheader on Saturday also hurt that a little bit. Guys can't rebound and come back that next day. Where if somebody would have thrown on Friday, even Brian, he throws 3 on Friday, he can come back and still get you an inning or 2 on Sunday. And same with Kaz. If he would have thrown earlier, he could have came back on Sunday. So it just worked out well. But at the end of the day, we took 2.
You mentioned James Madison being swept by William and Mary midway through the conference slate. Probably hard not to be scoreboard watching across the Colonial. Of the 6 teams that will make the conference tournament, only 7 are eligible. We're fighting for those 6 spots with George Mason, Old Dominion, Georgia State, all not being able to because of conference realignment. But with your schedule left, you have some teams at the top of the schedule. Delaware coming up, William and Mary still on there, and UNCW, who's in first right now, will be your last regular season battle. Do you guys, are you looking at this, know that it's going to be a tough road, but from how you played 6 of 9 in conference play, it can be done?
Well, definitely, and don't forget Georgia State, they're leading the country in hitting so at their place, and we hadn't had much success in my career there. We are scoreboard watching. We're battling like heck to try to get one of those spots, and with the injuries and stuff we had, it's been a tough road so far this year, but we've, I think, righted the ship, and I think we'll figure it out. We just need to keep pecking away. Every win's a big win. If we can win the home series against Delaware and UNC Wilmington, 2 tough opponents, but I'd rather be playing them here than there at their place. And so we have them at the right spot. William Mary's second in the conference right now with the best pitching in the league, so it's going to be a tough place to go play. And like I said, Georgia State's leading the country in hitting, so we definitely have a tough road. But we only have to beat out 1 team right now, and you get into that tournament, you have a Dave Dorico on game 1 and a Joe Berg in game 2. We have as good a chance as anybody else, and we have enough pitching deeper to do well in the tournament. But first things first, we need to just keep winning games and keep pucking away.
Finally, Coach, you mentioned Delaware. They knocked you out of the CAA tournament last year, coming up to Hempstead for 3 this weekend. Any extra motivation with what's already at stake?
I'm sure there is. We played them 5 times last year, and they knocked us out the last 2. They were our 2 losses in the tournament, and I thought we had them beat in the 1 game in the tournament, and I'm sure they have a lot of returning players. We're not exactly the same club that they saw last year, so I don't know. This is a new club, a new team, and we weren't sure exactly how the rivalry would be, but I would assume them being at the top of the CAA and us trying to get into the tournament, it's going to be a pretty big weekend.
All right, the head coach of the Hofstra Pride baseball team, John Russo, joining me in the WB Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com.